A 2-1 loss to a English Premier League team is probably not a bad feeling.
No, it's a good feeling. I thought both groups came in and gave us a lot of energy. First half group and second half group. Good performance by us against a top level team. So we got better, and that's the process that we're in right now as a team. Is how do we consistently get better every week? I look at that performance tonight collectively from the group, and we got better as a team against a really good opponent. So it's I always want to win, but sometimes you have to look at it and say, hey, we had a good performance against a really top level team in Europe. We're happy with it, and we move on.
It seemed like at the start when they started pressing that it might be tough for you guys, but it looked like as the first half went on, did you see the team getting more comfortable out there?
Yeah. You know, one thing we spoke about is to try and enjoy this occasion. You're going against world-class players that I'm sure a lot of these guys watch, just weekly when they're watching the games. So there's always going to be, as much as I could say, guys, don't be nervous going into the game, there's always going to be some nerves there. And I want that in the players. It shows, excitement as well. But once we got past 15 minutes, the nerves started to settle a little bit and we started to find some success. So I was really happy with that.
Justin.
Yeah, Coach, just to continue on with that first group, obviously it's the same group that had a good first half performance against Minnesota on Saturday, but they kind of turned that around and looked pretty comfortable, especially over the back half of that first half. And Marcel Hartel as well seemed like he's putting in really a focal point of the attack. But did you like what you kind of saw from the movements and just how they played against Aston Villa?
Yeah, I loved what I saw. I mean, we again tried to get... One of the most important things for me was we wanted to play this game with the way we've trained for the last 8 weeks and what we've been building towards. I didn't want to go back to sitting very deep and playing long balls over the top as our only outlet to attack. I wanted to try and get the ball down and play against a top level team. And we've done that. I haven't seen any of the numbers. I don't know what the percentages were in the game or anything, but I do know that we tried to come out and play football. And a lot of these guys put in another really good 45 minutes. But I do want to give a shout out to the second group. The second group came in with massive energy. The work rate went through the roof from that group and made it really difficult for Aston Villa and got us on the score sheet as well. So proud of both halves and both groups of players.
When Unai was in here earlier, he mentioned that the second group came out and forced them to change the way that they were playing, especially with that second group having some of the younger players as well. Like, how proud are you to hear that?
Yeah, I'm super proud. Anytime I can challenge a top level and a top manager in the world, I take confidence in that as well as a coach. We adjusted our pressing shape a little bit. We wanted to definitely get the lines higher up the field and put a different shape out there for them, and we caused them some challenges. So I take that as a massive compliment.
We'll go to Rocky or then Grace.
One of the big things you talked about was facing off against a team that was going to hold the ball more while still playing your guys' offensive game, especially the first half. Paddleford and Tots are both getting, Volum, both getting up very high. But you guys were able to, for the most part, keep your shape defensively. How do you feel about keeping your shape against a more possession-based team while still getting, 6 guys consistently into the attack?
Yeah, that was a moment I was happy with. I think for us, with this group of players, we talk about balance a lot. We came out in the first couple of weeks, and my first objective was to improve this team dramatically with the ball, score goals, create chances. I wouldn't say I neglected the defensive side, but my 100% focus was us with the ball. But the last couple of weeks, we've talked about, hey, we've got this down now. We're scoring goals, we're creating chances. How do we shut up shop a little bit? How do we be a little bit more organised against the ball? And we're getting better and better each week on that side as well. So a good balance tonight.
And one of the big parts there, when he took over, we talked to Conrad about the switch. He talked about not playing a lot of the classic fullback in a back four, but now that's, a game and a half now, including one against a Premier League team. What do you have to say about Volum's play at kind of a position outside of his norm?
Yeah, super happy and excited for him and his future. He's a top level player. He's a top professional. The way he handles himself in training every day is fantastic. He's an absolute joy to work with on the training field. And then you go into the weekend and you see him in a couple of different positions, but he always gives everything to the badge on the chest, and that's all I can ask for. So I'm really happy for Conrad.
Grace?
You got your first look at Falu in a match. What were your impressions of him?
Good. I mean, difficult game to come in for. Not often do you come over to the MLS in your first games against the European EPL team, going into the second half as well. So yeah, I was really happy with him. He got himself comfortable after a couple of minutes, it seemed like. So yeah, good impressions, good fair start.
Obviously, lots of success over on the City 2 side. How cool is it to have guys like McSorley and Joyner get to come in and play in a game like this?
Very, very proud of them. You guys know I worked I spent a lot of my time with them early parts of the season. So Coach Hack and his staff is doing a fantastic job keeping this development high for these guys. And I thought all the younger ones, all the City 2 ones that came into the environment tonight, done a very, very good job. Yeah, so Brendan was fantastic.
We'll go Jordan, then Emmett.
You talked about the second half players coming in and kind of trying to make a statement, trying to push for their chance to get into the starting 11. I just wanted to ask you about Cedric Torchard and his goal and just what that could do for his confidence getting a goal here.
It'll do a lot. I've had a couple of individual meetings with Cedric. He's been frustrated in himself that he's not been scoring goals. He had a really good week. You go back to the Minnesota game, we start Sang-bin. I think he feels that he has to have a good week to challenge Sang-bin and challenge to get back in the starting 11. And this week he had 3 or 4 good days on the training field. So to see him get rewarded tonight with a goal was very good. So that's the challenge I give him. That's the challenge I give all the guys that aren't in the starting 11 is make my job as hard as possible. And he's gone and done that tonight. So I'm happy that he's doing that for me.
Emmett, go ahead.
What are some things you feel like the team took away against this game, against Aston Villa, being in the Premier League and everything, and as well as how are you going to prepare for the Nashville SC game on August 9th?
The first part of the question, what did we take away? I think we've took a lot away from this game. We know they're in pre-season. We know they're probably not at their most sharpest as a group, but again, these are world-class players. And we went on the field and actually competed with them today. It wasn't like we just sat deep and absorbed all this pressure for 90 minutes and got away with a lucky 2-1. I thought it was a pretty competitive game. Both teams had chances. So we'll take a lot of positives away for sure. And the second part, we're going to train tomorrow. We're going to train on, what day is it? It's Wednesday, right? We're going to train on Friday, give them a weekend off, and then prepare for Nashville. So we'll take a lot of positives away from this game tonight. We go and give that performance in against Nashville. We're on the right track.
We have time for 3 more. We'll go to Henry, then Ashton.
Obviously, Cedric with the goal just 3 minutes after Ollie's goal in the box. Is that kind of that response and then also the response in the first half that your team had? Was that one positive that you'll take away from this?
Yeah, that's something we spoke about a lot lately is when we concede a goal, how do we respond over the next 5 minutes? We've had a couple of times this year where we've actually scored the first goal and then kind of let the team come back into it. But when we concede a goal, how do we respond? And the response from Cedric and the team tonight was good. It was great pressure high up the field. You had to be brave to put that much pressure on an EPL back four to try and strip them of the ball in that moment. And I think we've done that. So yeah, I was happy with the response.
Ashton.
The team showed a strong push in the second half, nearly equalizing. What specific adjustments did you make at halftime with the new squad to spark that momentum?
Some of the adjustments we just talked about when they had the ball and they got it in the wide lanes, it was pretty noticeable that their objective was to go straight through the middle of the field. They didn't want to play around our shape. So once they got the ball out wide, just remain compact in the middle of the field, like let them advance the ball in the wider areas, because their clear objective was to try and go right back through you. So that was one of the defensive changes. Offensively, it was about trying to not give the ball up within the first 3 or 4 passes too easy. So first half game, we had some good possession, but we turned the ball over a little too easy at times with like direct balls in behind. I wanted them to try and play out to those moments a little bit more. And I thought the second group done a good job at that.
Tom?
What's up with Falou's arm?
I don't know the extent of it, but it's like a little small crack in the bone. So I think he's got it on for 3 more weeks, and then he gets to remove it. So, but injury was caused several weeks ago, not at St. Louis City.
He had it when he got here.
Not when he got here. You already had it on.
Just with the break that you have now, I mean, you'll have a little break.
Yeah.
Is this just? How did you sense these guys felt psychologically about this game? Just how were they excited? Were they pumped up about doing this? And how do they feel? What was the room like?
The rumours. I was a little nervous for a moment once we got past Minnesota, on how they were going to respond to a game 4 days later. They actually took this game with great positivity and a great attitude, for another chance to go and just compete against the top level team, but also just to compete in a game as well. Anytime these guys get to play at home at Energizer Park, they get really excited about that moment. So we took this game as an opportunity to grow as a team, play against one of the best teams in Europe, and just celebrate the moment. So we were all happy with that.